You're saying there will be a big problem at the World Cup in South Africa because FIFA is failing to address the match fixing. Why do you believe that?
Well, look, FIFA has failed to take any effective action, and the match fixers have been at every single major international soccer tournament for at least the last 20 years. These guys go to the under-17 World Cups. Why? Partly to make money off the gambling market on those under-17 years, but also to establish links between players so that 10 years later when those players are playing at the really big tournaments, they've established trust, they know that the players know that the fixers will pay them, they have all kinds of regular long-term relationships with these guys. So, we know that they have been at every single international soccer tournament for the last 20 years. And we know this from not only the fixers, but also from the players, from referees, from soccer officials.
Then why would South Africa be different?
Exactly. Why is South Africa going to be any different? It could have been different if FIFA, after the publication of my book where I lay out the extent of the problem, had done what, say, UEFA has done, which is established their own integrity unit, which has established a set of people, detectives, gambling experts, who can say, look, we know these people. Look, there's not a single member from Asia, where many of these gamblers and fixers are very well known, who's there providing information saying, watch out for this guy comes in, watch out for this guy, we're going to stop this guy from coming in. There's nothing like that. They enacted a series of actions, but those really are things that play well in the public, but in terms of effectiveness have absolutely no or very, very little effective action. So I'll give you one example. They set up a private company, why it's private I don't know, called the Early Warning System, which, quotes, monitors the betting patterns and betting markets to see what's going to happen. Well, this is almost useless in a World Cup. That's useful if you're following, say, fixed matches in German games or the lower Jupiler League somewhere in Belgium or Netherlands. That will be useful there because the amounts bet on those games are so small. But every single game in the World Cup, they have so much money placed on that betting market. So much is there that you can't tell whether there's anything. Two, their early warning system, and this is from their own executives. Their own executives have stated this publicly. Many of the gambling companies won't share the information on who's making the bet. So, say there's 100 million bet on, I'm going to make this a hypothetical example, America to lose to England in that opening round game. It could be 20 million English guys betting $5 each that their team will win. Or it could be one wife of an American player betting 100 million that her husband's team will lose. And I'm making that up as a hypothetical example. But we don't know. And the early warning system guys won't know because the betting companies won't provide them with information as to who's making the bets. So what does it matter? What does it matter if we know that there's 100 million placed on this game or that game or that game? It's who places the money. And finally, the early warning system doesn't really have good, strong connections into the Asian market, which is where all the fixing takes place. Like, people don't fix on Betfair. They don't fix on the big companies. They fix on the big Asian companies, not the big European companies.
So what do you think will be the dangers for the World Cup tournament if this is not addressed, if not this year, maybe next time?
Look, you could put something. We're now talking on April the 22nd. The World Cup doesn't start until June the 11th. There's still plenty of time. You could put an integrity unit together in 3 weeks. You could get the all-stars of the police world to resign from their jobs and work to do this. They would be happy to do it if it was seriously backed and seriously promulgated by these guys with good resources and good security. There's lots of stuff they could do right now to save this World Cup.
Your research has put this issue on the agenda at UEFA. UEFA has acted inside Europe, but you're saying FIFA is not doing anything with it, basically.
Anything effective. They're playing games. They're saying, oh, we're doing this. But anybody who's an expert knows that what they're doing is not effective. What UEFA has done is very, very effective. They got themselves an internal unit within UEFA itself. They've backed it with lots of money. Platini has come out publicly and said, this is the number one threat to the credibility of the game. We will not tolerate it. And so there's very close relationships with the UEFA investigators and the German organized crime investigators. So they've really put in a lot of work and a lot of effort. Why doesn't FIFA do that?
Final question: if the World Cup is going to be rigged, can you say who will win?
Well, I can't say who will win because, look, the big matches between the big teams are not in danger. What it is it's teams that are relatively, well, they're strong enough to get to the World Cup, but they're not particularly strong teams, and they're very badly paid. The problem is FIFA pays the National Football Associations. It doesn't pay the players directly. And what I call for is I say, look, every player who plays in the world's biggest sporting tournament, which is the World Cup, should know exactly how much money they're going to get and that they will get it. Because there's lots of promises in football. Talk to any football player about all the promises people make to them and then look at their bank accounts. It's much different. So FIFA has a very simple thing that they can do. They can put out publicly, they can say, you play in a World Cup game, you get, I'm making this up, $20,000 US. Every player that plays in the World Cup, and we put it directly into your bank account. You win a World Cup game, you get X thousand dollars more. You score a goal in a World Cup game, you get much more. You're a goalkeeper, you stop anyone from scoring, you get much more. And it's all paid into your bank account. The World Cup is worth billions of dollars. FIFA can afford to pay the players directly, they can afford to incentivize them, and they should. It's the world's biggest sporting tournament.
Why do you think FIFA is not doing that? You suggested that there's close links with the mob. Sepp Blatter sitting only 3 weeks away from, 3 seats away from people at the stadium.
I'm not sure that Blatter or Havelange had any idea who Kiklashvili was. My sense is that they've masqueraded as football officials for so long that when a genuinely serious issue comes up, and I'm not alleging that these gambling match fixes are connected with FIFA officials at all. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is a genuine, serious problem. I'm willing to work with you. There's lots of people that are willing to work with you. These people are coming from outside football to destroy your game. Do something about it. I have no idea why they have chosen not to do something effective.